Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review, spoiler-free, for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny 2023. This film is rated PG-13 with a runtime of 2 hours and 34 minutes, which is about 30 minutes longer than most of the other Indiana Jones films. As of the recording of this video, we have a 66% on Rotten Tomatoes for the critics, 88% for the audience. I am a lot closer to the audience score. Let me give you a quick synopsis. In this film, Daredevil archaeologist Indiana Jones races against time to retrieve the legendary dial that can change the course of history. Accompanied by his goddaughter, he soon finds himself squaring off against Uger Voller, a former Nazi who works for NASA at the time. This is directed by James Mangold, who's directed things like The Wolverine and Old Man Logan. 310 Yuma, great director. Go check out some of his other films. Written by Jess Butterworth, John Henry Butterworth, and David Coep. Movie stars Harrison Ford, of course, in the role of Indiana Jones. Introducing Phoebe Waller-Bridge as Helena, Toby Jones as Basil Shaw, Matt Mikkelsen as Dr. Voller, and Ethan Isidore as Teddy, the young companion to Helena. So it's been quite an interesting journey over the past week, really, that I've watched and rewatched all the films. I've mentioned before that a lot of the films, if I had seen them, I was so young that I don't really remember. Like I think there's iconic scenes that are just in the zeitgeist of like pop culture and videos and movie videos and stuff like that. So there's a lot of imagery I was very familiar with, even in my adult life. But I don't think I had fully watched some of the films. Now I have, and to complete this Indiana Jones journey, we're here now at The Dial of Destiny, the only film not directed by Steven Spielberg, not written by George Lucas. This is only based on characters by George Lucas from the other films. So yeah, very, very interesting. This movie to me delivers a thrilling, captivating adventure that serves as a fitting end to Harrison's Ford portrayal of the iconic archaeologist. While the film's not without its flaws, including some disappointing CGI, the aging effects, it manages to overcome these shortcomings through its strong storytelling, energetic action sequences, and a heartfelt performance by Ford, and as well as many, many surprises for the fans, longtime fans, and new fans just alike. One of the great strengths of this films lies in the ability to recapture the essence of Indiana Jones as a franchise, right? From the opening scene, we're immediately transported into a world of adventure, of like mischief. Things are happening very quickly, just like all the other films. We get that. I would say this is probably one of the longer sequences as far as the opening, but this one actually is setting up things that will happen later on, as opposed to some of the other ones that kind of sometimes they don't connect as much. I think Crystal Skull actually was one of the ones that connected the most. So yeah, it just great attention to detail, very cool sequences, very well that it's planned out, like just the way that it all kind of comes back around, and of course the movie starts setting up the mystery from the beginning. uh the action sequences here are really a spectacle, from the daring escape to each set piece. Now they've had to definitely adjust the way that this is all done and the things that Indiana Jones could do, because he is a lot older in this. This takes place in 69 when the US finally put men on the moon. Um, and Indiana Jones is a way different person than he was in, when we first met him, whether you go by the first film or chronologically, which is a different film. So yeah, he's changed a lot. His world has changed a lot. He's been through a lot, both professionally as an archaeologist, as a college professor, but also in his life. He's gone through some tragedy that really it's expanded up on the film. Um, so while the focus of the film is undoubtedly in the adventure, it just delves into the emotional depth of these characters. Right, Harrison's Ford's portrayal of Indiana Jones is full of life and guts and just like that hardship that he's gone through, encapsulating the spirit of this character. There is poignancy to Form's like Lion in the Winter portrayal, where we witness an older but wiser, but also more cynical Indiana Jones grappling with his past and his legacy, and just what he can do to save the world once again. So it's truly a testament to Ford's talent. I think sometimes we're a little jaded by just knowing that these characters are going to be there. So it's really nice to have Harrison Ford kind of maybe end this in his own terms, as well, with such an interesting franchise. Also, newcomers like Phoebe Waller-Bridge, she's great, very charismatic. Uh, her role is a little bit more um, chaotic than I would say Indiana Jones. I think Indiana Jones will have, although still kind of uh, a bit of a chaotic character. His compass is it's very true, right? Where Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character is a little bit more of a gray area. Also, the character of Teddy, um, one of my favorite things about the other films was a Short Run, who Ki Hugh Kwan gave a great performance, and I think they try to recapture a little bit of that fantastical view from the point of a younger character. But Teddy is very different, right? He's a very streetwise kind of character. Really complements the team. Toby Jones also brings a little bit of an emotional depth and a connection to Indy's past, and of course Matt Mikkelsen, like the villain of all villains. Like, he's just so good. His presence on screen is what really sells a lot of this. Um, and it's really interesting. Like, the de aging on him doesn't look very different. It's a really, you kind of all over the place with that. But as far as just the presence on screen, Matt Mikkelsen's, of course, delivers. So yeah, the supporting cast deserves great recognition in their performances as well. Whether it's a new character or a character that's been a fan favorite, we really get to visit a lot of that stuff. So it's really fun. Um, the Dial of Destiny takes a lot of bold narrative choices, especially towards the end. I would say that's probably the part, like the climax of the film is the part that's gonna either make it or break it for you with this film, because the film makes a choice, and it's a choice that you really can't go back on. But if you're on board like I was, I think you're gonna have a really good time. Now I feel like they could have even pushed it further, and everybody that's seen the film already kind of knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's really interesting. So I thought it was just a fun exploration of what these films could really be, like at its at its more heightened levels. So as I mentioned, the film does stumble with some CGI de aging effects. I think, particularly in some of the action sequences, and that was one of my complaints too for Crystal Skull. Right, like, it was very obvious that even though there wasn't much de aging, it was very obvious when it wasn't Harrison Ford doing some of those stunts or movements. Whereas in this film, that's a little bit more seamless. Like, that does. I mean, you can obviously, with the de aging is definitely not Harrison Ford, but in as far as the other stuff, like, whoever was doing stunts for Indiana Jones, for Harrison Ford, they captured the way a person of that age would move. Whereas I think in Crystal Skull, they kind of not, they didn't really go for that fully. Um, so yeah, there's great craftsmanship. There's great dedication to this final chapter of Indiana Jones' journey. A great attention to detail. Like I said, a lot of details for the fans, and like I said, some choices that you may or may not like, but if you connect with the emotional, like, choices, the action choices, if you the storytelling choices, like, I think you'll enjoy this film. I don't think it's the perfect one. I don't think it's the best one. I will do a later on a ranking video of the five films, since they're so fresh in my mind. Um, but I think it successfully delivers a satisfying and nostalgic conclusion to Harrison's Ford portrayal of the character. And the film manages to also just bring back the spirit of the franchise with his action. Um, I'm not sure. I'm sure this is Williams. Like, part of it is Williams' score, because it's definitely there. I didn't look into who did the music. I think the music really plays well. It's really been updated for the time a little bit too. Um, so yeah, I really had a good time at the film. It was a little long. I think If anything, there is one sequence that I would completely remove from the film. It's about maybe 15 to 20 minutes. And unfortunately, that means we would lose the Antonio Bandera of it all. Um, but yeah, I felt like that was just kind of a wild goose chase that really didn't bring anything back to the story. It didn't build upon anything because I think things could have still happened the way they did. Um, so that would be my only thing. Like if you remove that, this movie to me it's a lot better, and they would also be back down closer to the 2 hour mark, which is where most of these films are. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they chose to make this movie as long as they did. Maybe they felt like they needed to bring in a lot, but yeah, it was interesting. Like I said, that sequence, I feel like what it tries to do, it just doesn't fully connect. So anyway, I'm rambling now. So, as always, thank you for watching, everyone. If you've seen the film, let me know what you think about it down in the comments. And of course, thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.